I thought I would give you a quick update on the BMW because look at what I've picked up recently. I think it looks very cool and it fits perfectly. It ties in nicely with the gap in the tank. Also in the back, it makes for a nice radius. So I'm very happy with how this turned out. But also apart from the seat, the BMW project is moving forward nicely. Things are coming together and I'm very happy. The only thing that I'm a little bit sad about is that I'm still in my shed. You might know that I've applied for the BMW or with the BMW to go to the bike shed show, but I've never heard back from them. So I'm still here. Would have been super nice to meet you, some of the other builders that I'm getting more and more in contact with. But sometimes life has different plans and there's always a bright side to those things. For the project, it's definitely beneficial because the timeline would have been completely flipped around. I would have had to focus much more on the appearance and didn't have time to do the wiring or the engine work before the show. And I always wanted to finish the wiring before the painting because as this is my first time doing all of this, I didn't know if I had to drill holes in parts or like make altercations or something like that. And there actually were a few little things that I still had to change. For example, right here, I drilled a hole in the fender to route the wires through. I also added a cable tunnel in the rear fender so you can zip tie the cables to the fender without really anything being noticeable. So it's actually not super bad that I couldn't go to the show, but it's still definitely a goal for one of the next builds. So we have to keep that in mind when planning the next project. Yeah, apart from that, I just finished wiring up the M unit, which I'm very happy about. Everything looks super clean. I'm happy that I chose all of the higher quality supplies and tools and stuff like that. The Deutsch pin connectors, Tech-Flex sleeving looks very nice. The M unit definitely makes it easier to wire everything up. Also, good planning makes it easier. Having the wiring diagram, having all of the supplies ready to go, that really helped me out. But even if you have everything, it still takes a while, at least the first go through, I think. But with that being said, contrary to my initial belief, I might have actually found a liking for wiring. That might also be because everything worked so smoothly, and it might be different if things go wrong. But yeah, on this one, I actually enjoyed it. It's quite meditative to just sit there and sleeve the wires, route the wires. Sometimes it did create a little bit of headache to wrap my head around where I wanted to have the plugs and where I needed to route the wires. But once that was figured out, I was like, okay, now we need a wire from here to there, sleeve it, crimp it, blah, done. Super nice. Also, I don't know if you've seen it, but we've wired up the ignition. The bike fired up. It sounds amazing. Listen to this. And yeah, with all of the wiring being done and the bike running, I can actually start to take it apart and prepare it for powder coating, which basically means to chop off any of the brackets that I don't need and then clean up some of the parts to make them look extra smooth. In preparation for the powder coat, I also had the wheels checked at a professional shop if they run true, if that's how you say it, and they do, which is nice. And then you might remember on my first start try, the battery actually died. No, okay. Now nothing happens. And that's probably because the Bosch starter motor is not like too heavy, too slow for the ultra bad battery to fire up the BMW. It might just need a rebuild, but I don't always want to fry the battery because that is currently checked at the ultra bad facilities if they can repair it, and I do need to pay for that. So in order to prevent that in the future and still be able to use the ultra bad, I bought a new starter motor from Valeo. And those are supposed to have a better, I think, gear ratio, which makes it easier on the battery and easier to fire out the BMW. I know some people consider it a sin to exchange a German engineering product for a French one, but I'm doing it anyways. For this setup, with the Ultra Bed being hidden underneath the seat and I want to keep it that way, the Vallejo one sounds like the much better option. But there's one potential downside with them, and that is that some people have issues with the magnets getting loose. On the Bosch, they're screwed. On the Vallejo ones, they're only glued to the housing. So that might be a problem, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm gonna install the Vallejo starter once the engine is out and then try it once everything is back together. I've also made 3 control cables, 2 throttle cables, 1 clutch cable. That was also a nice process. If you want to check out those videos, I've made a playlist that I can link you down below. And yeah, with all of those projects done, we are very, very close to getting this bike on the road. And it finally feels like I have a good understanding of how to build a custom bike. Dude, in the beginning, I had no idea. And even before starting the wiring process, I was so overwhelmed because I had no idea about any of the technical terms. I had no idea about what you have to consider, how you choose the right wires, whatever. All of this. But finally, it feels like, okay, I can start a new project and kind of go into it somewhat knowing what I have to do. So that feels very good. But first we have to get this one done and on the road. So I'm very excited for that. This was just a little update. The M-Unit video comes out next. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I see you in the next one.